Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, Team 50 dances into the history books.
And IU Water Polo dominates the Sun Devils. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Hank Joseph.
And I'm Kara Adams.
So Kara, how did your sorority Kappa Delta do in Little 5 qualifying?
We qualified in 5th place. How did Theta Chi do?
Yeah, okay. Indiana softball swept Ohio State this past weekend to remain perfect in the Big Ten. IUSTV softball reporter Ryan Costello has a series recap.
Indiana just keeps on winning. The Hoosiers picked up yet another Big Ten series sweep this past weekend against Ohio State, which improves their record to 8-0 and first place overall in the Big Ten.
Going to have a better start, 8-0, win in different ways. You know, we won a one-run ball game this morning. We were able to extend the lead there and drop the long ball. But man, what a heck of a day. I mean, you saw it all. The fans are really being entertained right now.
Entertaining is what the 3-game series against the Ohio State Buckeyes was, because the Hoosiers showcased their offensive prowess throughout their entire lineup. 1
through 9, we've got hitters. That takes the pressure off you. You don't have to do it with all one swing of the bat. And so now it's a race of, all right, who's getting the ball out of the yard the quickest? Who's hitting it the furthest? You know, they can have some bragging rights there because we're doing some really good things offensively.
Junior Brooke Benson is not only a leader on this team, but she's able to be clutch on both sides of the ball and elevate her play. Like on Saturday when she hit the ball out of the park, and on Sunday when she had multiple highlight reel plays for the Hoosiers.
Brooke Benson, defensively, she is so good and so sure-handed. That play she made with the bouncer where they have a green runner, to be able to do that and shut the defense down, super impressed with her.
Brooke is just one of the many players on Indiana who is able to elevate at the plate.
I know if I don't do my job, Cora behind me is going to do her job and vice versa, and going down the line, I just know I could trust whoever's up at the bat.
Trust in taking each game one step at a time is how Indiana won't get ahead of themselves.
All these things are micro moments and micro weekends that are going to help us in the long run. But you know, you want to win Big Ten titles. You want to be in the postseason. And so right now we've won a fast start.
From Bloomington, Ryan Costello, IUSTV Sports.
On Tuesday, the Hoosiers added number 22 to the win column in a row, topping the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers 3-0. Next up on the schedule, Indiana travels to Minnesota for another Big Ten weekend series.
The Indiana baseball team is on a roll in Big Ten play so far this season. This past weekend, the Hoosiers headed up to State College to take on the Nittany Lions. In Game 1, the team lost 7-2 with IU sophomore Luke Sennard on the mound. On Sunday, IU bounced back with a doubleheader sweep, winning 4-1 in the second game and capping off the series ending with a 22-11 victory. Seve Manasseh and Craig Yoho led the Hoosiers on the mounds, followed by hits and runs from Bobby Whalen and Brock Tibbetts all day Sunday. On Tuesday night, the Hoosiers fell to Indiana State, but will look to get back on track and continue their Big Ten winning ways with an upcoming series against Iowa. Be sure to follow along with beat reporters Kelsey Dennehy and myself for weekend coverage.
The outdoor season is in full swing for the Indiana track team as they travel down to Gator County for the Pepsi Florida Relays. It was a jam-packed weekend where teams traveled from Boston University and Gonzaga to meet in Gainesville. Freshman Alex Smith placed first in the long jump, where Robert Blue and Kitten Grace would also finish within the top 10. Pole vaulter Nathan Stone and triple jumper Mahogany Jenkins both earned a silver medal in their respective events. Sophomore Camden Marshall continued to showcase why he has been one of the top distance runners in the Big Ten with his second place finish in the 1,500-meter run. And the women's 4x400-meter relay team earned a podium spot, finishing in third. It will be a good old Rocky Top for the Hoosiers as they travel to Knoxville for the Tennessee Invite tomorrow.
Coming up after the break, we crown our Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And we have more on water polo's historic win. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night. The Indiana softball program is celebrating its 50th season this year, Team 50 as they are called. Since starting 7-9, the Hoosiers have won 22 consecutive games and now hold sole possession of first place in the Big Ten. Their 19th win broke a program record that stood for 39 years, and Bloomington's own Taylor Minnick is one of the biggest factors in IU's success on the field. She earned a Big Ten Co-Player of the Week honors this week, where she posted a .750 batting average with 2 home runs against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Minnick is our Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week as well, and we're thrilled to have her in the studio. Taylor, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, so let's get into it. We're going to have to start with the streak. It's been absolutely incredible. What has clicked for your team in the last month?
I mean, obviously you can tell our hitting has been our main focus. Like, that's what wins us games is our hitting, and I think our pitching is now finally clicking, and we're getting our rotations down, and you see the way Bree's pitching. She's, I think, 12-0, 13-0. So when you have a pitcher like that and hitting the way we do, I mean, it makes sense that it's clicking. So.
Yeah, I got to broadcast a game with Bree pitching, and it was pretty.
Yeah, it's fun
incredible.
to watch. Yeah, and then she'll hop to third base and then hit a home run. So she's fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, do it all. So you were second All Big Ten last year as a freshman, of course, on the Big Ten freshman team as well. How comfortable is it, you went to Edgewood High School, just down the road from here, that you're playing sort of at home?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely awesome, like going up and looking up at the stands and seeing my family, and I get to see a lot of, high school friends up there and old high school coaches, and it's just special to be able to represent my hometown. So.
Are your parents ever like a little bit annoying and you're like, guys, like, please stop?
No, that's a good thing, no. And I love that I'm close to home. I get to go home and see my dogs whenever I want, so.
And they can do your laundry, of course, as
exactly,
well.
if I ever need it, yeah. Or a home-cooked meal, anything.
You're making me homesick, Taylor. So you guys were just ranked 19th in the D1 softball poll. Is it gratifying, or I guess how gratifying is it to be recognized nationally for a team that has just consistently been climbing the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, last year I feel like we had a great start, and that's the start to all of it. But I mean, this year I think it's all coming together, and we are getting ranked in certain websites and stuff like that. But it's still like we're not ranked on the NCAA one yet. We're getting the votes, but we're just not right there yet. So it'll be exciting when we're on that NCAA one.
So on this streak, how has Coach Stanton kind of, I guess, calmed you guys down, maybe calm your nerves? Because, every game you win, it's another one in the books, but a loss would probably be brutal.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, we set the streak. It's not, I don't think we should say it's going to be brutal. I mean, we know it's probably going to happen at some point. So I just think that we just keep, believing in ourselves and know what we can do and play our game. So.
Very level-headed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what is the team's, goals for this season? What do y'all accomplish, and has that changed, over the past month?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like Coach says, the big part was, the fast start, and obviously we've got the fast start. We're 8-0 in Big Ten play, and then, staying strong through this middle part of the season where it gets tough with the midweeks and stuff like that. It's a lot of games, and, just staying strong through those games and then finishing strong. And, obviously our goal is postseason. That's been our goal since I've been here as a freshman. Like, we want to make it to postseason and, make a big run in the Big Ten tournament. So. Yeah,
I think what was the last year they made it to the College World Series? It was 1986.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
but
it's time. It's time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything can change. And last All-American, I think, was 1986 too. So your team has some studs on it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think one of y'all could definitely get recognized nationally.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Taylor, so much for coming in. This was great.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Of course. From the diamond to the pool, the Indiana women's water polo team was back at home this weekend, battling against the Arizona State Sun Devils. Ashley Voss has more.
Number 19 ranked Indiana beat number 15 Arizona State University, making it the team's first time since 2005.
We were definitely fired up. We had a game plan and we stuck to it. And I think that was one of our main reasons why we win. We were all playing together. We were just really wanting this win. We had a couple tough losses, so just the fire from everything just really built up and we were able to execute it.
Just over a month ago, Indiana had lost to ASU. Not only did they win today, but they held a strong lead the entirety of the game.
Anytime you lose to a team and you've got a second shot at them, there's a little bit more fuel to the fire, and especially them being a conference opponent. And this is the first time we've played them at home, and we are taking a lot of pride in playing at home this year and made an emphasis that we want everyone to hate playing here and to hate coming here. And so hopefully we did that well today.
There was plenty for ASU to hate, with 8 different Hoosiers putting up 11 goals and goalie Mary Askew making 10 saves and 4 steals.
It's exhausting, it's mentally challenging, it's all of these things, but let's have fun while we're doing it. And it's really hard to win, so let's celebrate the wins.
We definitely make cheering on the bench one of our big priorities, because when there's a lot of energy outside the pool deck, it definitely brings in the energy inside the pool.
I've had to tell them to just kind of slow down and be quiet, because I turn to talk to them and they're all cheering and yelling. Makes it hard to sub sometimes, but I would way rather have that than them be silent behind me.
Lots to cheer for in the final quarter, with the Hoosiers widening the gap from a 1 to 4 point lead, ending the game 11-7.
I think the win was because of everyone. Yeah, it was just awesome.
The Hoosiers will be back at home next weekend competing against Michigan. From Bloomington, Ashley Voss, IUS TV Sports.
Michigan will be the Hoosiers' last home match of the season before prepping for the national tournament.
The Indiana women's tennis team traveled to Lincoln, Nebraska and Iowa City, Iowa for 2 conference matchups. The Hoosiers opened the weekend against Nebraska, falling to the Cornhuskers 4-2. Number 1 singles Laura Schneider and number 4 Alex Stakelescu won in straight sets. Mila Mejic and Nicole Teodosescu fell in tough 3-setters. The Hoosiers then faced the 57th ranked Hawkeyes, and Iowa quickly took the double point. But in singles, the Hoosiers battled back to win the number 1, 4, 5, and 6 singles matches to clinch the win over Iowa. Indiana is back home to face Michigan State on Saturday and the University of Michigan on Sunday. Make sure to follow Sam Brunsman, Michael Livingston, and Dylan Traeger for updates.
The men's tennis team had a busy weekend hosting 3 matches at home. Zeke Shapiro has the recap.
Indiana played 3 matches in 3 days at home here at the IU Tennis Center. Against number 24 Northwestern, the Hoosiers fell in a competitive match 4-2, but then against Illinois they fell 4-0 before sweeping St. Louis 4-0. After beating Purdue 7-0 to open up Big Ten play, the Hoosiers faced 2 very strong teams in Northwestern and Illinois and simply could not pass the test.
It happens, I think there's a little different lineup. Outdoor tennis, we only played doubles outdoors on Friday, so we played a full match outdoors today. So you could say, there's a couple reasons, but at the end of the day, we need to do a better job than that.
Against St. Louis, the Hoosiers got off to a very slow start in singles before turning on the heat later in the match. Junior Jagger Saylor continues to improve this year, as despite losing his match against Illinois, he dominated against St. Louis.
Such a hardworking kid. He's always here first, always here trying to get more.
It was good to bounce back and get a win, take care of business. 2-0, I felt like it was a strong win. So hopefully I can just carry some of that confidence into next weekend and have a good week of practice and get 2 wins this weekend.
IU moves to 12-8 on the season and 1-2 in Big Ten play, and the schedule does not get any easier as they travel to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the University of Nebraska next week. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Zeke Shapiro.
The Indiana women's golf team participated in the Chattanooga Classic earlier this week. Junior Dominika Berdova took honors for the Hoosiers, shooting at 227 and tying for 45th. Senior Hannah Tanaka shot 3 birdies in the final round to finish at 234, and sophomore Beatrice Juanquiera had the lowest Hoosier score in the final round to tie for 74th. The team will close out their regular season at the Lady Buckeye Invitational in Columbus, Ohio next weekend.
Now joining us with this week's Candy Stripe calendar report is IUS TV sports reporter Abby Niemela. Abby?
Thanks, Hank. We have a lot of sporty events to look forward to this weekend, so let's get started. Women's rowing will be traveling to Sarasota, Florida to participate in the Big Ten Invitational on Friday. The track and field team will compete in the Tennessee Invitational in Knoxville at the Triton Invitational in San Diego. Hoping to keep the winning streak alive, baseball will be hosting Iowa in a series over the span of the weekend at Bart Kaufman Field. The first game will begin at 6 on Friday. Softball also plays a 3-game series against Minnesota and Minneapolis. To conclude Friday, men's tennis will be away in Nebraska facing the Cornhuskers. Carrying into Saturday, softball will continue their series against Minnesota and baseball will play Iowa at noon. Women's water polo will be going against Michigan at home at 1. To finish off Saturday, men's golf will be participating in the Hoosier Collegiate against the Fowl Golf Course right here in Bloomington. And for Easter Sunday, the men's golf Hoosier Collegiate tournament continues. Baseball and softball will end their series against Iowa and Minnesota. Women's tennis is home competing against number 3 Michigan. And lastly, men's tennis will travel to Madison to play against Wisconsin. That's all I have for this week's Candy Stripe calendar. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Abby. And that's our show for the week. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports. For our production crew behind us, I'm Kara Adams.
And I'm Hank Joseph. We'll see you next week.